Hi, this is Brian Kim. I want to share with you case number 111, the best way to do cataract surgery series. This is a 4 plus dense lens. It's not a cataract, but it's really quite dense. And you're going to see double chop, cross chop, mechanical fracturing techniques, how I'm able to crush the lens pieces between my instruments. And that's really the primary mechanism of lens disassembly and breaking down the lens into smaller pieces. Therefore, I'm able to utilize less ultrasonic energy, less utilization of using high vacuum, and hopefully reducing risk for complications, and definitely, in my experience, having clearer corneas with this technique. So I'm using a cotton tip to straighten the eye and steady the eye. This is a corneal marker which will help me to center and size my rhexis. This is my paracentesis blade. Make an incision first on the right side and then the left side, making sure I'm parallel to the iris plane, which creates a nice corneal shelf, which will allow me to achieve a self-sealing incision. This is intracameral lidocaine and then some dispersive viscoelastic to coat the corneal endothelium and fill the anterior chamber. And this is the triplanar corneal incision. I make a vertical groove, place the blade into the deep part of the groove, tunnel through the cornea, turn the eye towards me with a cannula, and then I enter. I push some more viscoelastic, and then now I'm going in with the rhexis forceps with the T sideways, puncture the center. I'm able to puncture through, pull downward to create a tear, grabbing the right side of the tear, going around circumferentially with the flap, making sure the rhexis aligns with the corneal marks that I made before, which will hopefully allow me to achieve a well-centered and sized rhexis. Burp the viscoelastic out, and this is the capsular fornix hydrodissection technique. I place the cannula under the rhexis edge, contra-incisionally, point the tip down, get a nice wave, turn the tip back up, decompress on the left side, point the tip down on the right side, hooking the peripheral lens, and you can see the lens spins nicely here. I'm attempting to do a little bit of hydrodelineation, but the lens is so dense I don't think it did a hydrodelineation there. I lift the incision with the chopper. I go in with irrigation off to minimize Descemet's trauma, removing the surface lens material, again, which is very thin there because of the density of the lens, placing the chopper around the lens, contra-incisionally, the phaco tip vertically, sub-incisionally, crushing that very dense lens and bisecting it. You can see I'm stretching and cracking, finally breaks through completely. I place the chopper around the right heminucleus, pulling it central toward the phaco tip, dividing the right heminucleus in half. So that is double chop and cross chop. Using a little bit of vacuum and phaco to grab that first quadrant, lifting it up out of the bag, and then placing the instruments around the lens, crushing it into smaller and smaller pieces. Again, these lens pieces are quite dense, so it takes a lot of effort to manually crush the lens pieces into smaller pieces and then emulsifying those smaller pieces. It takes a lot of discipline and patience to crush the lens pieces into smaller pieces in these denser lenses, because you're tempted to just kind of go pedal to the metal and just emulsify those lens pieces very, very quickly. But in my opinion, it makes a lot more sense to crush the lens into smaller pieces and then emulsify the lens pieces. It would be the way I would want my eye to be done. I wouldn't want pedal to metal phaco on my eye when I'm having cataract surgery. I hope the surgeon would really crush the lens into smaller and smaller pieces. By doing so, it really reduces corneal endothelial trauma. So I turned the second heminucleus in front of me, placing the chopper around the lens piece, pulling it towards the phaco tip, which is deep in the bag, bisecting that very dense lens in half, placing the chopper around the third quadrant, pulling it towards the phaco tip, which is again deep, crushing. You can see the thickness when I'm trying to crush it. There's that sudden release of resistance when I get through the thickness of that lens. Again, a very dense lens. Crushing the pieces into smaller pieces and then emulsifying the lens pieces. Again, I'm trying to position the lens piece around my instruments, crushing the lens piece, sandwiching the lens piece, and making it smaller and smaller and smaller, and then using sparing amounts of ultrasonic energy, pulsing it as I remove those small fragments. So this is the final quadrant. Place the chopper around the lens piece, pulling it toward the phaco tip, dividing the lens in half between the instruments, using some vacuum to position that piece, crushing the lens between the instruments, doing it again, using some vacuum, positioning it, doing it again. And so I use a vacuum to position the lens piece, and once I have it on the tip, I crush the lens between the instruments. And just continue to do that with these maneuvers. And as I do that, little by little by little, the lens piece begins to leave the eye. And as you can see, there's not a tremendous amount of ultrasonic energy being used during this time. It's very well controlled. I'm not worried about the posterior capsule coming up at me because I'm using such sparing amounts of ultrasonic energy, which means I have very minimal risk of post-occlusion surge with these cases. In fact, I really don't have any post-occlusion surge by using this technique. That's the final fragment, crushing it into smaller and smaller pieces, keeping the phaco tip deep in the bag. So now the endonucleus is removed, and I'm going to carefully remove the epinucleus, again protecting the posterior capsule with a chopper. Fairly dense epinucleus. So I take the chopper out, push BSS in, take the phaco tip out. I go in with the eye in a handpiece with irrigation off, activate irrigation, starting subincisionally, removing the cortical material. You have to be mindful you don't grab the bag. Again, with these dense lenses, I do worry about zonulopathy. So cortex came out pretty easily, turned to polish mode, removing the lens epithelial cells under the rhexis edge, polishing the posterior capsule as well. So we'll go ahead and pulse BSS into the subincisional capsular fornix, which is nice and clean. Inject some viscoelastic, cohesive viscoelastic to fill the bag. Go ahead and polish underneath the rhexis edge on the left side and then the right side of the lens epithelial cells. Again, this is a dense lens, and I do always assume that there's some level of zonulopathy. I like to use a 3-piece lens, so I'm going to widen the incision with a diamond blade. Go ahead and place the injector for the 3-piece lens. Sometimes it gets hung up on the incision there, since I do make a triplanar incision. And so it tells you that, if it's hard to get in, it must be a pretty good incision. And so I go ahead and widen it some more, make sure I get around the lip of that incision. And of course, as I'm doing this, some viscoelastic comes out. So I fill the capsular bag. Again, always make sure you have a nice, widely dilated bag when you put a lens in. I deliver the leading haptic into the bag. Again, the bevel is facing to the left. As the optic comes out, I rotate the barrel 90 degrees counterclockwise. I dial the trailing haptic into the bag with the Maltzman. I go in with irrigation off, activate irrigation, get underneath the lens. Again, because I've widened the incision, my chamber is not going to be stable, so I have to be very mindful of this, making sure I look for iris prolapse, make sure that the chamber doesn't collapse uncontrollably, polishing underneath the rhexis edge, switching to visco mode, removing all the viscoelastic from the anterior chamber, and then I'll hydrate my incision. So again, this is a very dense cataract, not a cataract. This is a dense cataract, a 4+ definitely. I was able to perform double chop to completely sever the lens in half. I didn't have to sculpt or do anything like that. And then I was able to perform cross chop on multiple maneuvers as well as mechanical fracturing forces. Again, I'm trying to crush the lens into smaller and smaller pieces. By doing it that way, I minimize ultrasonic energy and vacuum usage. Again, vacuum and ultrasonic energy, when used at the wrong place at the wrong time, is what leads to complications. By using those things less, I'm able to reduce the risk for complications. This is a very controlled way to crush the lens, and as a result, I've had better results, less complications, clearer corneas after surgery, and in my opinion, the best way to do cataract surgery. So I hope this was helpful to you, and I thank you for your attention.